Hello, fellow creative people. It is I, Newbart, and today I will explain the full story of Almond Lexi from Chapter 1 to Chapter 20. Also, there's a few things I would like to say before we start. Number one, I will not explain everything that happened in each chapter. I'll only explain the important details. And two, there's going to be some scenes on there that are not from the actual video itself, but you can see it like as a little remade, remade version, like a remastered version of it. So yeah, so from the video itself, there's gonna be some scenes that will be remastered in this video. So just to put it out there. Alright, that's all, and now let's begin. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, chapter 1 was not the best beginning for Almond Legacy, but I'll say it's okay. But it does indeed start with two individuals called Zack and Sarah, aka Zack and Turns and Sarah Shao. Those two are childhood friends and like to get stronger and to reach their goals. Zack wants to become an Element Master, while Sarah Shao wants to become a Shao Warrior. And those two train day by day until they reach the age of 13 to go to the Element Academy to boost up their skills even more, and to have trios of their own. But Zack asks the guy, in the stand, asking where the directions are for to go to the Element Academy. And the guy says that, the Element Academy is, in the creepy forest. So, that's where, Zack and Turns and Sarah Shao went. Right there, they stumbled across a monster, along the way. Zack wasn't scared though, so he decided to face off the monster on his own. And it didn't work out too well for him, since he ended up losing the battle completely due to the monster's size. Guess who decided to defeat the monster instead? Come on, I'll wait. It's Sarah Shao. And you could just call her by Sarah. I don't know why I'm using her full name in it, both of their full names, but probably for starting from now on, I should probably start using their, just their names, Zack and Sarah. Yeah, if it's better for me. Zack woke up, my monster is already finished. So, and there's, after Sarah was finished with the monster, there's a lot of meat that she got from the monster. And she ate one of the monster's meat. Don't ask me how, that just happened. Well, after doing all that, they stumbled across a bunch of zombies, and they battled the zombies. After facing the zombies with zero difficulty, they stumbled across something more like a camp. They stumbled across the Eternus camp. Sarah spotted it out with her ancient instincts, and seeing the Boulder Eternus in the camp, and wonder what they should do to get past the camp to go to the Element Academy. So pretty much they get on top of the tree and thought of a plan. Sarah thought of a plan as always, and they both charged in through the camp and tried to get to the Element Academy. Obviously it wasn't easy, since now the Boulder Eternus now know that they're under attack, and they all decided to gather up and try to fight as an army. Zack and Sarah wasn't scared though, it's because they were ready for the challenge to test their skills before they go to the Element Academy. So they shoot out the boulders across the forest to hit Zack and Sarah, but Zack countered it with a fire punch. Then Zack grabbed the boulder, hold the boulder, and Sarah used the Shadow Spear to put it inside the boulder, and then Zack throws the boulder directly at the Boulder Eternuses. It exploded, and it creates a huge fog between Zack and Sarah and the Boulder Eternuses, and decided to make a run for it. They made an escape, and they went straight to the cave, hoping that they will go to the Element Academy. But meanwhile, the Eternus King is looking at a picture, and it turns out to be his son. But there's a guy standing right there. Guy that's sitting on the throne turns out to be the Eternus King, and he's talking to the Eternus King, talking about there's an intruder going around, and the Eternus King obviously tells that guy to deal with it. So the Eternus minion obeys and has a robot called the Eternus bot, and he tells the Eternus bot to hunt down those intruders. So he breaks through the cave and now officially catches like Zack and Sarah, and which officially ends chapter 1. So yeah, so that's all that happened in chapter 1, but let's go on to chapter 2. Chapter 2, however, I could say will probably be the better beginning for Element Legacy, but that just depends how you feel, to be honest. But enough talk, let's go over chapter 2. But the Eternal Spot immediately senses out that there's a Shadow Clan near here, and he's looking at Sarah. Sarah knows where this is going, so she's ready to fight the Eternal Spot. So the Eternal Spot charges at Sarah, but misses his attack, and Sarah dodges it, and she's planning on using a shadow, and the Eternal Spot says it's what she was about to do, but she launched the Shadow Palm before he had a chance to do anything, and landed a direct hit on the Eternal Spot, launching him and sending him flying. And I want to admit, chapter 2 has some of the best action / fighting. You get to see a battle between Zack and Sarah versus the Eternal Spot. So these two have been at it with the Eternal Spot for quite some time, until Zack launched a fire punch at the Eternal Spot, and the Eternal Spot launches a fire attack on its own. I mean of his own, sorry for my bad grammar. The two clash, and it looks like Zack has the edge. But little does he know, his fire punch ends up getting stuck into the fire blast, and he's trying to get himself unstuck. I'm so sorry I'm speaking so bad right now. But the Eternal Spot wanted to end things quick, so he decided to use the Power Feather and to make his power fire much more hotter, and it will burn through Zack's fire punch real quick. And Zack tries to get unstuck, but he ends up getting unstuck just in the nick of time. Luckily, Zack landed right next to Sarah, but Sarah acts like that there's something going on with the Eternal Spot. It looks like the Eternal Spot took too much of the Power Feather's power and he's overreacting. But he decided to put on the Feather Control On mode on, and fire is everywhere, and his transformation is complete. Sorry for the unexplained power up. I told you the beginning of Legacy was not the best. But trust me, Element Legacy gets better though, since the Power Feather ended up reacting inside of the Eternal Spot, and the Eternal Spot ended up getting erased completely. So there's that. The Power Feather ended up attacking both Zack and Sarah, but Zack grabbed the Power Feather to make the Power Feather go to revive the Power Feather out of his corrupt form and back to its normal state. The Power Feather is thankful that he's now free again and thanks Zack for helping him, and asks what's Zack's name. And Zack thanks him in such a cocky way, and the Power Feather now thinks that Zack is a peacemaker, since only peacemakers can revive the Power Feathers. Yeah, let me explain real quick. If you are not a peacemaker and you touch a Power Feather while it's corrupt, you will be erased. But if you're a peacemaker that touches a Power Feather while it's corrupt, you revive the Power Feather from being corrupted and bringing it back to its normal state. There are 8 Power Feathers in Element Legacy, and each of those 8 are unique from each location and each region. Zack has to get all 8 Power Feathers and the Ancient Element in order to become the Element Master. And that Zack is shocked that he has to do all those things to become an Element Master, but he's ready to take on the challenge. The Power Feather tells him to put his hand on the cave wall, and it turns out that something happened, and the Power Feather says that he has the Ancient Fist. So Zack is the peacemaker of the Ancient Fist. The cave opens up, and it turns out that the Element Academy is right there, and Zack and Sarah have now arrived in the Element Academy. The Power Feather tells the two that they can't share their secret as a peacemaker, because those are terrorist people that are trying to get the peacemakers and have them under their control. So it would be best if they keep their identity as a peacemaker a secret. So those two walked into the Element Academy, and Sarah tells Zack that they have to keep their identities as a peacemaker a secret, and to not tell anybody that you're a peacemaker, not even your own trio. And of course Zack agrees, and those two decide to sit down on the couch and to just try to decide if they're going to be trio leader or if they're gonna have a good trio. And sorry, I also forgot to mention that these two got trio bands before they sat on the couch. I sadly made a mistake while editing this video, so yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, these two got trio bands like before they sat on the couch. Just to be clear. But in the end, they decided to end off their conversations on asking why the power feather meant by they can't show their identities off as a peacemaker, which makes it to the end of chapter 2. Wow, that was some stuff has happened, but yeah, we're getting closer to the Echo arc. Don't worry, just 3 more chapters to go. Phew. So basically, chapter 3 is like where we get to see Zack's trio for the first time and get to know the trio. So let's begin. The start of chapter 3 was like this guy that was assigning all trios, and he's about to explain who it is, which trio is everybody going to be in, and the trio is going to be based off of skill and how well you work with that person. So pretty much that he's going to explain some few things, but the main important thing he is going to say though is the trio that you will be having will be the trio until you're 18 years old. If one of the people that is not 18 years old, you still have to be trios to that person until that person reaches 18. One by one, he assigned everyone to their trios, and soon each person went to trio one teacher with another. Each trio goes with one teacher, and soon by 10 minutes goes by and Sarah ends up getting called with her trio. Turns out that Zack and Sarah are not going to be in the same trio. It turns out that Zack will have a new trio of his own, and Sarah will have a new trio of her own. But good news for those two is that those two end up being trio leaders. So Sarah pretty much waves goodbye to Zack as she goes with her trio, and Zack waits for his trio. And he is a little bummed at first, but Sarah's not in his trio. But it's nothing that he can do. There's nothing he can do about it. So he's going to have to just embrace the new trio that he has without Sarah. So it'll be a new experience for him. But if Sarah can handle it, I'm sure that he can handle it. So after 3 hours has passed, it turns out that the person is now calling the final trio. And it turns out that there's this one mysterious person, and as he looks at the last trio asleep, he officially wakes them up by yelling, wake up. The trio is now awake, and the guy says that you can now go into his training room. And the trio obviously goes to the training room and sees the amount of stuff that is in there, and it's like they never see anything like this before. So they all just decided to go to that place and decided to just take a look around the place. It looks like a forest even. So they all just relax. Zack walks up to this girl and says hello and says his name is Zack and asks what her name is. The girl's name is Lizzie, and she's glad to meet Zack and wonders where the other trio member is. Zack wonders himself too, but he thinks that they're gonna all get along and get to know one another, and hopefully they get to work together as a trio. The teacher comes back, and Zack and Lizzie look back to see who just talked, and it turns out that the teacher made a whole entrance to himself, and his name is Juko. And as for a big entrance, the big wind it comes across, pushing the tree so hard and the tree falls over this kid. The teacher apologizes, and he says that he didn't mean to cause that much wind, but he's now gonna tell the trio that he's gonna teach them something, a new boost to their power. The trio is excited, of course, but one particular person didn't care about it, and the teacher calls him out, saying why doesn't he care? And he claims that he really doesn't care about all of this. He sees that he's not interested in the things that they're doing. And obviously the teacher was annoyed by it. The teacher isn't dealing with any of that, so he decides to want to introduce all of them, and he wants people to introduce themselves, and he wants to start with like the person that doesn't care about it all. The kid is annoyed, but he calls himself Mizu, and he wants to become the legendary swordsman. And right after Mizu, her name is Lizzie, and what she wants to become is the best inventor. She wants to like become an inventor when she grows up. Something that she always wanted to do. It was her dream. Zack, what he wants to do is become the element master and make peace in the world. After that, we get to know all of them. We now start the training, like to get their new boost in power, which is called the element enchantment. I will explain element enchantment in the future, but element enchantment pretty much is something where you can do like unique stuff with your element. Element enchantment is where you draw your element power and bring the potential to the max. So yeah, I'll explain it in a future video. All you need to know though is that they don't get it in this chapter. Like, they just got the qualifications for it. Now it's time to talk about the training, and the training is pretty much just them training. Like, they just dodge boulders, dodge meteors that he does. Like, if you want to know like what they've been training, you could just watch chapter 3 on Legacy. It'll be in the playlist at the end of the video. So yeah. But what I will say though is one of the trainings, they were controlling the Manu, and while Zack's trying to control his Manu, his Manu ends up rapidly raging out to the point he ends up getting this random well, not random, but like this like dark form or this like unknown form. Well, obviously I know what it's called, but it will probably be explained in the future Element Legacy. So yeah. Okay, but now in the end of the training, Mizu and Lizzie gets the qualifications for element enchantment. Zack doesn't because he couldn't control his Manu. But once Zack gets the control of his Manu, he's gonna meet the qualifications for it. But he just needs to control his anger while controlling his Manu. So yeah, pretty much this wraps things up for the chapter 3, and they all go to the boat to go to the flag hunt because that's what they need to do to pass the Element Academy. So that's what they do. They wish their teacher farewell, and the teacher gives them good luck on passing the flag hunt. So yeah, the trios go on their journey. So that was chapter 3. Now let's head on to chapter 4. Go! Okay, chapter 4 is probably going to be the fastest chapter I'll explain, since not much has really happened, and nothing really changes in the story. So yeah, that's all you need to know. Now, let's begin. Zack trio has just arrived, and they spot out a bunch of trio members. Zack from a distance saw Sarah and walked up to her, and Sarah is glad that he's seen Zack. It's been 2 weeks since he saw him, and those two talked for a minute, wondering who will win the flag hunt. And Zack, of course, thinks that he will win, but Sarah thinks, I'm not sure about that. I think she will win. Whatever. Those two keeps talking, and then the counselor starts saying that it's time to discuss the rules of the flag hunt. Basically, if you get a flag in a Pacific round, you are safe. But if you are a trio member decides to lose a flag or something, you are not safe. Pretty much, if you don't have a flag in a round, you pretty much lose and fail the flag hunt. Now let's talk about the rules that will get you punished. Pretty much, if you team with other trios, or steal the flag from other trios' chest, or even hit the trio with the chest, pretty much that you're not only going to get sent to a very bad place, you're getting sent to the dungeon, not the prison. You're getting sent to the Eternus dungeon. Whichever trio wins the power fair, and they have 1 minute to get with the trio. Lizzie has the plan, and her plan is one of them stays with her and try to find the flag with her, and then once they find the flag, they could just give it to her chest easily. Zack thinks it's a good plan, so they do the plan. As everyone's with the trio, the countdown starts. Everyone's getting ready, and everyone is trying to look for ways that they can get the flag. As soon as they say go, they all go, running full speed. As they go, Zack decides to say goodbye to B2, and B2 now realizes that him and Lizzie are alone, if you know what I mean. Mizu's face turns red as soon as he does not as soon as he realizes that he has to be partners with Lizzie, and he doesn't want to be with Lizzie for too long, or his face will turn more red, and he doesn't want that. So he decides to go with Zack and tries to chase him, of course. But Lizzie was like, "Oh, what about the plan?" And Mizu was like, "Forget the plan." And Lizzie was like, "All right." If this doesn't sound like something, it sounds like someone has a crush, and that someone is Mizu. During Mizu, I don't know how to talk to girls either, so I can tell it's your experience with it. But anyways, Zack is trying to look for the flag, and he ends up finding the flag in the bush. And Zack gets the flag, and someone right behind him, a mysterious person, shows up and asks to give him the flag. And Zack was like, "Oh, make me." And the person's like, "All right." And as soon as he fights Zack, it turns out that as soon as Zack lands a fire punch at him, that person's not there. And it turns out that person appears right behind Zack and pushes him, and he falls across the tree. Zack woke up against Mizu, and Mizu was saying, "Get up." He managed to sleep away through the entire round. Luckily, Lizzie found a flag, so they're safe for this round. But instead, there was no hope because of the two. So Mizu was like, maybe they should do a plan. And Zack was like, "Okay, if we're going to do a plan, you're going to have to be there with her." Mizu also turns red again, but Zack explains that he needs to get a revenge on this specific person, and Mizu needs to man up and be the partner and save his little for the resolve while he deals with the person. So as the brave little simp, he decides to be with Lizzie and try to find the flags with Lizzie so they can save themselves around all the way to the final round. And while Zack deals with the mystery person and tries to fight him off, then as he does so, he tries to charge up something mysterious. We don't know what he's charging up against, but we will soon find out soon enough. Okay, the mystery person had gotten the flag, and he's about to head onto the trail, but he heard someone that's created an attack on him, but it was too late, and he got nearly hit by the attack. He doesn't know what happened, of course, and he looks directly at the person, and that person had pinkish aura, and the aura looked very godly. It looked like the person that he faced, but that person looks pink and has a godly aura. He wondered what it is, but it turns out that he knows this person very well. And now that person has the flag, meaning that he shook his head, and he's very shocked at what he's seeing right now. And he's like, how are you doing all this? And he asks, who is this person? And as he rises up both his arms, he calls himself Zack Eternus. But as soon as he says what his name is, he quickly jumped into the bush and ran away. And the person and the mystery man was like, "Huh? You can't just run away from him." And as Zack was running, he found out that the mystery person was running is right behind him. And he looked back, and it turns out that person charged up a spirit ball at him. And while Zack was running, he stopped and tried to deflect the spirit ball, and he ended up deflecting it and ended up exploding in front of the mystery man. His form ended up running out, and he has to head on back to his trail before the time runs out, because the time is really ticking, and he only has about 2 minutes to get there. So he runs, and he ends up finding his trail, and luckily they have enough flags to get into the final round. Zack ends up meeting Sarah in the meeting zone, and Sarah also has enough to go to the final round. So as the two wait, they have a conversation, and well, that's what happens, and they're wondering what will happen in the final round, which wraps up chapter 4. Well, now let's on to chapter 5, the last chapter we'll be covering today. This is going to be the last chapter of the Almond Academy and the first chapter to the Aikyo arc, so let's get to it. So the black cloud appears, and it strikes on something, and it turns out it's creating another cloud, and it turns out that there's someone coming out of it, and it turns out it's some person. We don't know who this person is, however, but like he decides to like go straight to the Black Hut and ends up robbing the guy with the power feather. Yeah, it turns out that he works with the Eternuses, and he's a world breaker. So that's fun. Okay, so after he's like really about to threaten him with the sword, of course he ends up giving up the power feather, and he has to cancel the finale, like for the final round. So as soon as the person leaves, he asks, like, where's, like, do you see any peacemakers around? Of course, he responds, he doesn't know any peacemakers around. So he carried on his business and ended up leaving with his cloud. So as soon as the like world breaker leaves, he has to like break it down to everyone that the final round is canceled. Zack wasn't too fond of this idea. He didn't like the fact that the finale is canceled, and he's like wondering what is going to happen now. The guy, however, had the solution, saying that, you know what, instead of like people failing, he's going to make everyone pass. Even though this could be a big risk, he trusts that everyone will do a good deed, so he ends up passing everyone, and everyone can go with the trio and like live in the real world, like do missions, do things that they would love to do, and in which them all farewell. And as they farewell, Lizzie and like these two are both happy that they passed the trio, but one particular like person was not happy, and that person was Zack. He didn't like the way he passed. He wanted to pass the legitimate way. But Lizzie had something to cheer him up, like their first mission. And the first mission is to capture a peacemaker named Fiona. Zack didn't like the idea so much since he's also a peacemaker, but Lizzie is like, let's complete our mission. And Lizu pointed out in the distance that there's the place that they bet that she's at. And that place is the water region. And they're probably gonna think that the first look they're gonna check is the Ikoa Forest. So the trio paid like the guy like to ride them to the Ikoa Forest in the water region, and these two had 18 shards, so they're on it. And Zack's thinking that he has to tell them that they're a peacemaker before it's too late. And they now stopped at the water region. And guys, I'm so sorry. I truly am. If you're watching chapter 5 on YouTube, like on my YouTube channel, you're gonna have to skip a few scenes since the scenes in there are blurry during the editing process. I'm so sorry, like, for that bug back then. Luckily, we don't have to deal with it now, but like, still, while watching chapter 5, you're gonna have to skip some parts since some parts are blurry, and I'm gonna tell you the blurry parts right now. So Lizzie says there's a store up ahead. The store is open, but it turns out that it looks abandoned according to them. But he was like, oh, it's alright as long as there's good stuff in there. And Zack was like, alright, and let's go to the store. And when they go to the store, and guys, this is the part that we get to meet my favorite character, which you guys probably are going to be familiar of. Well, you guys should know, like, you keep up with Lizzie chapter, like always did, the current chapter. But my favorite character that we're about to meet is a character called Fiona. And for those who haven't like seen Lexi yet, or do not know who she is, well, you're about to meet her. As Zack walks into the room, he sees the entire place, and he makes a grin, and the random girl like looks at him, and the waitress was like, great, and Eternus, like, he's unfazed. But Zack comes in saying he wants a juice box for 3 shards. He grabs, and of course he gives the 3 shards to the person, and he gives him the juice. And that was, of course, satisfied, saying that was good. And he ends up saying hate, like someone said hey to him, and it was from a girl, and like it's from a person that he doesn't know, he has never met before. Zack thanks her, of course, and he sees the girl, and that girl looks awfully familiar to somewhere. And the girl was like, oh, we haven't met before. But Zack was like, no, it wasn't that. And he had a sudden flashback, and it turns out that she is the girl from the Wanted poster, and that girl is Fiona. But before he gets a chance to say anything, like, obviously Fiona puts her finger to his mouth and says that he needs to keep quiet. Like, he does not want that identity coming out, especially, well, she's in the, like, store right now. And Zach was like, but you have a bounty poster. But she was also replies that Zach also has a bounty poster himself. And Zach was shocked that, wait, he has a bounty poster? Zach is, of course, scared of this because now he has to officially tell his trio that he is a peacemaker. But Fiona comforted him, saying that don't knock yourself out. And she says that it isn't as bad. Like, if you think about it, like, that means that, like, you just gotta keep getting stronger and stronger. Like, it just gives you more motivation to get stronger. So that way, you're both, like, making peace in the world, and you can defeat the people that are trying to, like, attack you. And Zach saw this and was like, oh, wow, you know what? I could do that. And he, like, starts becoming more confident and says that, okay, so if people are going to try to attack him, he's going to start, like, fighting and defending himself, like, with his own power. But he, of course, has to get stronger. Fiona likes this and says that, oh, like, that's the spirit. And she was like, oh, you know what? I like you. Like, she wants to, like, see him more in, like, this region and the Kill Arc force, I mean. And, well, like Zach was also saying, like, oh yeah, sure, like, I would love to see you, like, in this forest as well. So the two, like, we kept on talking and, having conversations for a minute, like, for quite some time. When it is time to go, like, the Zach's trio says that it's time for them to go. And Zach was like, all right. And he waves goodbye at Fiona and tells her he hopefully sees her at the region. And Fiona's like, oh wait, are you, like, what is your name? Like, and Zach says that his name is Zach Eternus. And as Zach leaves, as Fiona says, waves, like, bye to Zach, and Zach leaves. But unfortunately, while all this plays out, there's, the mysterious person back at the flag hunt? Yeah. It turns out that he's, like, now, like, he is telling someone that the peacemakers are here. Turns out that he's secretly a worker for someone. And that someone, the guy that came and broke the, like, he broke in and, like, basically robbed the flag hunt person. Yeah, he's back again, and he is now going to arrive at the place that the peacemakers are at. Meaning that Zach and Fiona are basically screwed. So the Warbird basically gets on his cloud and travels, like, straight into the store that Zach was at, like, heading in full speed. And while Zach's trio is just minding their business, like, just walking around trying to find Fiona and all, the thunder cloud comes in, putting them inside a box, like, taking out both Mizu and Lizzie and Zach, leaving them unconscious. And, like, the guy ends up getting Zach and officially sends him straight into the Eternals prison. Not dungeon, prison. Well, Zach gets inside the Eternals prison. Guess who is, like, got captured alongside of him? Fiona ends up getting captured as well, leaving those two, like, stuck there, like, sleeping next to each other. And chill out, they're 13 years old, so they can, like, they're just 13 and they're just sleeping right next to each other. So do not take it the wrong way. While, like, while they got captured, like, the person that captured the two is now happy that he's now going to get his reward after capturing the two. Since if you get the two Beastmakers, you get a lot of shards, which means currency in Legacy. So while he, like, gets his currency, he calls out the person, like, puts out the bounties to begin with. Turns out it's the Eternus King, and the Eternus King is glad that he ends up capturing two Peacemakers instead of just one. And he says that he's going to give him the money, like, once he, like, gets the Peacemakers. And the person is like, oh, sounds like a plan. And he's glad that he ends up getting the two Peacemakers to get the shards. And he thinks that his plan is now working together. Which now ends chapter 5. Leaving this video to an end. Man, who really sit through all that, huh? Like, do you sit through all the way to chapter 5? Let me know. Did you sit through the entire video? I know a few of you probably left this video by now, but for the few of you that are still here, I'm glad that you made it through. And also, by the way, thank you for 100 subscribers. I really appreciate it. And hopefully we can make it to 110 subscribers. If that's a challenge that you guys can do, break it. okay? We need to hit 110 subscribers. We're gonna start off slow this year. In 2023, we need 110 subscribers. If you guys can make that happen, make it happen. But again, thank you for 100 subscribers. This means so much to me. I was 30 subscribers like a year ago, and now I'm at 100. Thank you so much. And I will make a video after the newest chapter that's coming out next week. It will be about the 100K. It will be a 100 subscribers special. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, I feel like that should be it. Thank you for sticking with me through this entire video. This is probably going to be the last video I'll do a commentary on this. I mean, if you guys are interested in me doing videos like this, like you want me to cover the IQ arc, let me know. But for now, I got a head going, and because I never thought that I was able to hit 100 subscribers. But again, thank you for that. We will hit 110 hopefully by the summer. But yeah, stay tuned for the Final Genesis 2 though. So night 2 to be specific. So yeah, well, that's all. And as always, be creative.